Okay, guys, once again, welcome back. Now we are going to have the summary of the fun they had, which we have already dealt in the previous classes. So, welcome everyone. The Fun They Had is written by Isaac Asimov. He was also known for writing books on a wide variety of subjects outside of science fiction, taking on topics like astronomy, biology, math, religion, and literary biography. A small sample of notable titles include Human Body, Asimov's Guide to the Bible, The Mystery Murder at the ABA, and his 1979 autobiography In Memory Yet Green. By seeing this itself, we can understand that he had written a lot of uh, stories, which is very diverse ones. So let's move to the chapter. We know that this chapter describes about a futuristic society where there is no schools. There are no schools. Children or students have to study at home. Presently, you are facing the same kind of situation due to the corona issues and all. You have to sit at your home and study from your virtual classrooms. Some of you are sitting in front of computer, some of you are sitting in front of mobile phone in order to learn such kind of things, and in order to learn things. What kind of school would you want to have in the future? Do you like to have a school which is fully dependent on computer and online services, or do you wish to be in your classroom and study with your friends with the help of your teacher? You can choose one. How much will the computer be involved in the future education? This is also describes about how much influence a computer can create in your future life. Will you feel more happy in a more developed high-tech society? Why or not? These are the questions we can ask to ourselves. Which kind of society will you like? Will it be a society with depending on computer, or do you like a society which is depending on human relationship? അതിനകത്ത് എന്തെങ്കിലും മിസ്റ്റേക്ക് ഉണ്ടോ? എന്തെങ്കിലും പറയുമ്പോൾ എന്തൊക്കെയോ മിസ്റ്റേക്ക് വരുന്ന പോലെ തോന്നുന്നു. ഇല്ലല്ലോ. Summary. This is a futuristic story. It is happened in 2157. In the year 2157, the 13-year-old Tommy finds an old book. He and Maggie, who is 11, find it strange that the words on paper do not move after having been read. Through this, Maggie and Tommy found out the difference between old schools and their present school, and they find a lot of differences. They also tell that in their computer they can have a lot of books, meanwhile they can have only one story or one particular novel in their book. So they in the first time they didn't like books. Nowadays they only read stories on the computer screen. The book is about school centuries ago. Maggie is very surprised that in the last in the past people had a person as a teacher, and that all children of the same age learned the same thing and went to a schoolhouse with other children. In their life they have only a robot instead of a teacher, and they have to sit alone in their classroom, which is a virtual classroom. They will have computer screens, networks as their companions. Meanwhile, all days students had a lot of friends, and they had a human being as a teacher. And Maggie and Tommy finds their school as not useful. They get bored by sitting all the time in front of the computer. So they actually love to be in their old schools. Maggie wants to read more of the book, but first she has to learn with her machine teacher whose level is too advanced for her, and she thinks school in those days was much better than today. By actually Maggie is comparing her present robotic teacher with the ancient school teachers, and she finds that her present teacher is not good. It is not making her happy, and it is just repeating already recorded things. When she read about old schools, she found out that old schools were far better, and she wished to study in the old schools. So that is about the first. So let's move to the next one. School in the future will be very bad, and Maggie and Tommy realized that these kind of schools are very bad. School nowadays is very good, and the people have much fun. Now you know that importance of school days. Now you are sitting in front of your computer, and you have to learn all those things which you have studied from your school. So it will make some kind of bad impression on you about virtual classrooms and all. So you must have loved to come back to your schools. For example, in line 18, Maggie says, I hate school. And in the last two lines, there is written, Maggie was thinking about how the kids must have loved in it in the old days. You are just imitating in the life of Maggie, because you cannot come to your classrooms and sit and enjoy with your friends. You can't do all the things you have done in the classrooms. Because of the coronavirus and all, you have to sit idly in front of your computer. So just like Maggie, you also feel the same. I also think that school nowadays is better than in the story. Okay, you might have also feel the same. You wish to come back to you might have wished to come back to your schools. In the future, in the school as described as Asimov, the social aspect is lost. Nowadays we cannot have a human relationship. You cannot talk with other fellow beings. You cannot get moral instructions from your teacher. So you may not like the classrooms which is only depending on computer and robot. There are no forms anymore. Everybody sits in front of his computer, and the people cannot learn together because every child learns different things. Okay, computer a teacher can teach their students differently. She can or he can care about the people who don't have much abilities, and the same teacher can check the students different students capabilities. So there are a lot of things a teacher can do but a robot can't do. But school today is not as good and funny as Maggie thinks. Almost nobody today would say that he likes school. Today means in the future days. And all Maggie lives in 2057 or something. Those days, Maggie, nobody like uh, schools. And there are many problems like forms with too many people. But I think regular teachers cannot be the solution. So actually she likes to have a different types of teachers who teach us different subjects, and she actually loved to be in old schools just like we had. So I think the story, the fun they had, is very interesting. It shows how the world could be in 2157. We can expect a world like that. If the corona issues are going so severe and all, we have to sit a lot of time in front of our computer, and we have to forget about our schools when everybody owns a machine teacher. So you might have to buy a robot as a teacher. Isaac Asimov's representation of a non desirable school of future gives you food for thought. So it is a, he is giving an idea about all future schools, how school should be, and how much computers determine our life. So in my opinion, it is an excellent story. So this is about the fun they had. So you have a nutshell view about the fun they had, because you are also facing the same kind of situation in your life. You are fully depending on your computer, and we are only helping, and you may be missing your old school days. So let's find what all are the difference you have to find in the future. This kind of differences will be, you might have this kind of difference will be there in the future. Present school, we will have a lot of real books printed on papers, and we can fold it like that, things yellow color crinkly books we can see in. We are using a lot of textbooks and notebooks, but future school, there won't be any kinds of books. Instead of books, we have to use telebooks, ebooks, that is the computer screen. And let's see next. Present school, you will have a teacher, a real man or woman, and she or he might having a lot of ideas, and she is he the teacher will not be a recorded item or mechanical item, and she may be communication emotional not perfectly there. When a human beings teaches you, there will be its own difference. In the future, you can have only a robotic or mechanical teacher giving test after test. No communication, large, cold, black, ugly, more. Whether you are facing any kinds of emotional balance and all, robotic teacher won't help. If you are not capable to study as much as the other students study, the future school teacher won't help. So these are the second differences. So let's see the third differences. Present classrooms, teaching in a building, you have to come to your school. Many students are taught the same thing, and you can study with your friends. You will have a lot of friends, and you can communicate with them. Meanwhile, in the future schools, there won't be a building. You have to needless to leave the school home. You have to idly sit in your house. Each kid could be taught differently. The classes are always on at the same time every day. These are the main uh, differences, and the homeworks and the tests also will be different in the future. Presently, we can have exams, test paper, writing, essay writings, but in the future, these things may change and tend to write them out in a computer by pressing the keys, then put them on the slot. We may not have any kinds of pen and pencil or papers. We will fully depending on computer. We have to type all the notes and all. So there will be a lot of difference. These are the main thing about the fun they had. You just read the chapter, and I will give the question answers and note. Thank you.